Okay, so today we are diving deep into emotional intelligence,
Ooh, emotional
but
intelligence.
we're focusing specifically on how it applies to sales.
Right?
And I am really excited to explore this topic with you
Me too.
because we're using this excerpt from How to Develop Emotional Intelligence Skills by Elite Sales Training.
Yeah.
And, I was reading through this and something they said really kind of like jumped out at me.
Okay.
And it was the point that emotional intelligence in sales, it's not just about like being charming or having a
Yeah.
smooth sales pitch.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely more than that.
It's like a much deeper level of understanding,
For sure.
really connecting with people.
Yeah, connecting and understanding.
So
Absolutely.
let's jump into it. And the first thing I want to talk about is self-awareness,
Okay, self-awareness.
which is one of the 4 key skills that the excerpt focuses on.
Yeah.
And I love how this excerpt doesn't just like define it.
Yeah.
It gives us like a really insightful warning.
A warning.
It says that salespeople who aren't self-aware can actually transfer their own stress to the client.
Oh, wow. So they're saying that like a salesperson's stress can like rub off on the client.
Yeah, it's almost like their own mood becomes like this hidden factor in the entire like sales process.
Yeah, and that can totally like make or break a deal, right? Like
Right.
imagine you walk into a sales meeting and you're like super stressed about your quota. That anxiety can actually like unconsciously impact the client's mood.
Oh, totally.
And then they're less likely to buy.
Yeah, they're not going to want to buy from someone who's making them feel all stressed out.
Exactly. It's
Well-
called emotional contagion.
Emotional contagion.
Yeah, and it can be a huge problem in sales.
Interesting.
But the really interesting thing is that top salespeople, they use self-awareness kind of like an internal radar system. They're constantly checking in with themselves, understanding their emotional state,
Mm.
and making sure that they're not letting their own feelings hijack the interaction.
Yeah, making sure they're not letting their feelings get in the way of connecting with the client.
Right.
That's super interesting. So, okay, so if self-awareness is the radar,
Okay.
then self-regulation is like the steering wheel, right?
Yeah, steering wheel. That's a great analogy.
So it's about navigating, those challenging moments that come up.
Right, those curveballs that life throws at you.
Exactly. And I remember that example in the excerpt
Mm-hmm.
where the client was being like incredibly difficult.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
And the salesperson, they use this technique.
Yes.
It's like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique
Yeah.
to manage their own frustration.
That's a good one.
Remind me what that is again?
Oh, yeah. So basically, you just like take a moment and focus on 5 things you can see,
Okay.
4 things you can touch,
Uh-huh.
3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a really simple way to like bring yourself back to the present moment.
Oh, I've totally used that before, like during presentations or,
Yeah.
like when I'm feeling nervous.
It's great for like calming down that fight or flight response.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this case, it helped the salesperson stay calm, address the client's concerns,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately like salvage the deal.
They totally save the deal just by like taking a moment to ground themselves.
Right, exactly.
And that's what self-regulation is all about.
It is.
It's so powerful.
It's so powerful.
And then that mastery of self-regulation that allows a salesperson to then become truly socially aware.
Yes, exactly. It's like once you can manage your own emotions, you can start to really tune into other people's emotions.
Yeah, it's like clearing your own emotional windshield so you can clearly see the person sitting across from you.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And that's so important in sales, right?
Super important.
It's about understanding your client's emotions,
Yeah,
their needs, even those unspoken hesitations.
absolutely. Picking up on all those subtle cues.
Yes, and the excerpt had that great example where the salesperson noticed the client was like subtly shifting their posture
Oh, yeah.
and avoiding eye contact when
Uh-huh.
they're talking about pricing.
Uh-huh.
And those are like classic nonverbal cues that a really good salesperson, someone who's socially aware, picks up on right away.
Right. They can like read between the lines.
Yeah, instead of like pushing forward,
Right,
they
sure.
pause, they ask questions,
Yeah,
and they really try to understand like where the client's coming from.
exactly. They meet the client where they're at.
It reminds me of that saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
And that's really what social awareness is all about, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's about showing that you genuinely care.
Absolutely.
And that leads us to the final skill, which is relationship management.
Yes. Relationship management, the key to building those long-term connections.
And I love how the excerpt goes beyond just like the typical advice.
Right.
Like, oh, just communicate clearly and follow up.
Yeah. Be a good communicator.
It gives this amazing specific tip
Oh, I love a good tip.
for salespeople.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, so it suggests sending personalized thank you notes that reference something specific from your conversation.
Oh, that's smart.
It could be like, it was great to hear about your upcoming trip to Hawaii, or something like that.
Yeah, anything that shows you are really paying attention.
Yeah, and it shows that you value the relationship beyond just like the transaction.
Right, you're not just in it for the sale, you're building a relationship.
Exactly.
That's a good one.
And it's such a small gesture, but it makes such a big difference.
Totally.
So to recap, we've explored how emotional intelligence empowers salespeople to connect with clients on a much deeper level,
Yeah.
build trust, and ultimately drive sales.
Absolutely.
And those 4 skills,
Self-awareness.
self-regulation, social awareness, and relationship management,
Yeah.
they're like superpowers, not just for people in sales, but for anyone, really.
For everyone, for sure.
So here's a final thought for you. Think back to a recent interaction. Maybe it was a sales call or just a conversation with a friend
Okay.
where emotional intelligence played a role. Could you have used any of these skills differently?
Interesting.
What can you learn from that experience to strengthen your own emotional intelligence advantage?
That's a great question.
Because it's a journey of continuous growth.
Yes.
Every interaction is a chance to learn and improve.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive
This was great.
into emotional intelligence.
Yeah, emotional intelligence is so fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
I love learning more about it.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
All right, well, until next time.
See you later now.